Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Sonic Heroes. Last time we made our way through Casino Park and Bingo Highway. Here is Team Chaotix. In this episode, we're starting off things here in Rail Canyon.
This has gotta be Eggman's base. Just the way we like it.
Cool!
Alright, let me take point.
Here's your next mission. Infiltrate the terminal station located in the mission.
So this mission here, basically, it's just get to the goal. The extra mission, same thing, now with a time limit. So it's not really too much different there, you just have to rush a bit more in the extra mission. So keep that in mind if you're doing that, but this mission here, very straightforward. This is pretty much one of the only levels where you just go from point A to point B in Team Chaotix, which already makes it one of my favorite levels of the team. I know a lot of times when I'm saying a lot of this stuff, it makes it sound like I despise this team, like it's my least favorite part of the game, I hate playing it, why the heck would I bother, but it is a cool yet unique gameplay style. It's just that I don't really feel like it fits with this style of gameplay, because this style of gameplay was really designed to be a platformer, where you're meant to go fast, but these guys just grind that speed down to a very bad halt, since this is not really designed to be you stop and take care of killing enemies or finding keys of some kind. So it really doesn't work with this game's control style, and it just in the end it's not as enjoyable as the other teams. If I go back to replay Sonic Heroes from just playing certain stories or certain levels, I'm always playing it with Team Sonic, Team Rose, Team Dark, never really with Chaotix, because their team is just the most boring to me, because, well, not really the most boring, I should say just the most annoying to deal with, since all their missions really don't have you really utilizing the platforming nature of the hero's mechanics. And these guys are very unique too, because I didn't mention this before, but with SBO, he can actually triangle jump on the walls, I should say. He can do that for as long as he wants. He sticks to them indefinitely. He doesn't fall off like the others. And you've already seen how he can turn invisible, allowing him to go through grates and just completely ignore enemies as a whole. So, in terms of their mechanics, this is probably one of the best teams to play with. But their levels is what makes them not as fun or as enjoyable as something like Team Sonic or Team Rose. And just because of that, that's why these guys are my least favorite. They're the most different, and mind you, different isn't always meaning bad, but in this case, it kind of did, because it doesn't really work with the hero's engine that well. It doesn't work with the hero's gameplay style. And I could activate these switches, but why would you bother when you can just walk right through the laser barrier? They have you do that in other levels, so you already know how to do it. So I don't need to bother, I can just walk right through there. Don't need to touch a single switch. But one thing there is if you go ahead and shoot yourself out of that cannon with the flight character, you'll get another flight core for free, so keep that in mind if you're not only going for points, but if you're going for level ups for your character as well. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and mention my attitude towards Team Chaotix, because honestly, this isn't really that bad of a game playstyle here. This does work, there's no real problems with it, I just don't feel like it meshes that well with the gameplay style we're already used to in the game. When this is a fast-paced platformer, having missions like, you know, collect all these hermit crabs or kill all 5 golden turtles in a stage, I just feels like that breaks the pace that is what you're playing a Sonic game for. You're not really playing it for the mission-based structure. I feel like that should be an optional thing, not a required thing, because you have to play through Team Chaotix story to beat this game, because I could have easily called this Let's Play at the end of Team Sonic story, because you get the credits there, that's the ending. But that's not the end of the game, because just like the Sonic Adventure games, this has a last story, which only unlocks after you beat the game with all 4 teams, and you also have to collect all the Chaos Emeralds for it too. I was just collecting those because I wanted the Chaos Emeralds. You're required to do that if you want to beat the game. You can't avoid them, you have to get them, and that right there is kind of an annoying thing to deal with, because at this point in time, this is when the Sonic games use the Chaos Emeralds and Super Sonic pretty much just to get you to a final story, instead of, you know, actually having a good reward for it by letting you play as Super Sonic in levels like the classics. But now, because of that, you have to play through this entire game 4 times, and you have to collect Chaos Emeralds with at least one of the teams. It doesn't have to be with all the teams, and it doesn't have to be with the same team. You can spread out with our team members if you wanted to. I just prefer to get all the Chaos Emeralds in one go, in one of the stories, just to make things a lot easier for me. It's either with Team Sonic or with Team Rose, and I chose to do it with Team Sonic for this playthrough. And that right there, that's a big reason why a lot of people don't like playing Sonic Heroes. You have to play all 4 teams' stories, and if you don't like a certain team, if you want to get to that final story of the game, you have to just push through it. And that is why a lot of people don't come back to Sonic Heroes. Some people also don't like the control of this game, thinks it's too slippery, and they don't like the team mechanic as much. But the big problem for a lot of people in Sonic Heroes is the fact that you have to play through this game with all 4 teams just to get to a final story, so it does drag for a lot of people, and I can completely understand that. To me, I don't mind this as much because when you compare it to the classics like, say, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you play through all the exact same stages with the exact same level design if you're playing through with Tails or Knuckles. It's the same thing as Sonic. They really only change it up when you get to Sonic 3 and Knuckles if you play through the entire game with Knuckles, because you get some alternate pathways. But you actually have that here too with Sonic Heroes, with alternate pathways for different teams. They take different routes, or they take different pathways that weren't there before with the other teams. So I don't mind that all too much with this game. That's why I like coming back to it. But with Team Chaotix, their gameplay just kind of grinds down the pace to a halt for me. So we have 30 capsules we could break here, but you know our rule. If there's a certain amount of capsules you need to break, let's just go ahead and just destroy them all. Let's just get everything done all at once. So instead of 30 capsules now, we have to destroy 50 of these things. And honestly, this is probably one of the hardest levels to get an A rank in. Because not only do you have to do this all in one go, because if you die, you're not going to have enough score for the A rank, but the score here is kind of hard to get an A rank in, especially if you're just trying to go fast. Because if you're trying to go fast, a lot of times you're going to get a B rank. And I've had that happen to me plenty of times when I'm trying to go fast this level and get an A rank, but instead of an A, I just get the B. So this is probably one of the hardest levels just to get the A rank in because of that alone. There's a lot you have to go through here in Gold Station. And because you're destroying all these capsules, you're going out of your way a lot of the time, which doesn't help your time bonus in the end. Your time bonus from the stage isn't really going to be all that worth it, so you really have to go out of your way in this stage for points. So do your best to get as many combos as you can, because you're going to need them. But we need to go ahead and destroy all these capsules, which we can't destroy these unless we're the power character, so you got to make sure your power character is with you at all times. If Vector isn't here with you, you're going to have a problem, so keep that in mind and make sure that those grabbing robots do not take away Vector. He is your most important teammate here for this mission. But right here, if we destroy these 2 capsules, we get 2 switches to hit, and then we can go ahead and ride this pole over to the next side. Now, I've always taken this using the tornado ability with Espio, meaning he's by himself, but you know, for once, let's just go ahead and go over there with my teammates. Because like I said, I never do that. I always just go by myself with Espio, and it just looks kind of weird when it's by himself because I'm so used to seeing the teammates on him that seeing him by himself just looks a little weird to me. But hey, would you look at that? I got both of those balloons, which means I got rings and an invincibility power, which is really helpful. But right here, when you get to this cannon, jump in as the power character, because you can actually destroy that metal crate, which gives you 10 rings, so that does help your score a decent amount. So do keep that in mind, get into that cannon with the power character, and you get yourself a nice little reward. But we want to go ahead, be careful when we cross over that little pathway, as we do with all the teams that got in here. It's just the easiest to go through with the flight characters, as I've always done here. When I was here with Team Sonic and Team Dark, I was able to use my Lightspeed Dash, but when you don't have the Lightspeed Dash, you want to go ahead and use your flight character. Because if you fall, you can easily just fly yourself back to the platform and make your life a heck of a lot easier. But let's just go ahead and jump into the cannon and fire ourselves away because, you know, we're not smart. And let's just gather up some balloons here. See if we can get some more levels for our teammates here too. Got one for Charmy, which he didn't really need a level. Got one for Vector, which helps. And let's see, is there another one? Yes, there is. We got another one for SBO. Gets him fully leveled up to level 3, which is great because I always like me a level 3 speed and a level 3 flight. Helps me the most in this game.
It shot us quite a distance.
Man, I'm surprised I was able to make that with the speed character. Normally when I get to that cannon section, get to the end of it, I always swap to the flight character to make sure I don't die there, but hey, that worked out. Now when you're traveling down this rail, I highly recommend you use the power character on there because at the end, you'll automatically get swapped over to the power character anyways. I've had times when it swapped me to the power character, it shifted me off the edge and I was dead. So sometimes I can cut your speed down and kill you. And keep that in mind because I mentioned earlier, if you die here, you're going to have to restart the entire mission because you're not going to have enough points to get that A rank. So swap to the power character there instead of having the game automatically swap for it. Because if you let the game automatically swap to Vector there, you might die. There's like a 50-50 chance that you might die or you might live. It's not really that good of odds. Let's just go ahead and fall down here. As you notice when I was playing through the game with Team Rose and now with Team Chaotix as well, if I belly flop with my character and then I press the A button just to get a little bit of a glide, you can actually cancel out of your falling animation for a split second there. And that's kind of useful for actually not going downwards or upwards in this case because I use that to actually cancel out my extra bounce, which helped me just go down faster. So if you see me doing that, it's because I'm pressing the A button really quick, just tapping it to just hover for a moment, pretty much just reset Vector. That's what I'm trying to do. It's hard to explain it. I mean, it really shouldn't be, but apparently things are just hard for me to explain in general. But let's just go ahead, ignore the springs because I can. And you know what, because we can do this as well, ignore the switch because that platforming still exists. Now this is probably the hardest part of this entire level when you're going for these capsules. Because right here, you got capsules on the way down the bobsled. And this is really annoying to deal with. If you press the B button, you can actually slow down quite a lot because that activates the brakes. And you're going to need to be using this quite a lot. I didn't know about that growing up as a kid. I think one of them, either this team or one of the other teams do comment on if you hold down the B button, you can use the brakes basically. But I guess I just never really heard the game say it or really cut the subtitles in time because I never knew about that as a kid. And whenever I got to those sections, I would just have to reset the level constantly, or I would just have to continuously go back to that part using the flowers at the end of the stage. And that is so annoying to deal with. So, knowing that you have a break there can save you a lot of time and a lot of trouble. Also, you want to make sure you come to this top platform right here because you can actually miss this entirely. In fact, they put that platform there with the flower for a reason. Because later on, you can actually move back over there using a flower, and then you can go ahead and grab those capsules, but it's super easy to forget about those, especially when the game automatically forces you to go down to the bottom platform. And those are required for me to beat this level because I'm going for all the capsules. So if I miss those, I gotta backtrack. And backtracking for those aren't gonna be really enjoyable to do, so I'd rather just get those now and don't forget about those, because those are capsules I always forget about in this mission. Also, right there, when you break this one capsule, you get a 1-up. So if you're going for all the capsules, this is very convenient because you're guaranteed a 1-up every time you get to this point in the level. But we're almost to the end. We only have a handful more of these capsules left. We only got 7. So it's not really that many. And while maybe very hard to see, there's actually a fence right there, the part I just jumped through. There's actually 2 fences there. So you have to jump over them. And they are curved, so you can actually hit the fence. So keep that in mind there. I've actually had times where I forgot the fence was there, tried to fly over it, and I ran out of my flight meter and killed myself because of it, because I pushed myself off the edge. So be very careful when you're around the fence part, because it's super hard to see that fence, and I wish they made it more visible. But right here, you can use the triangle jump with your speed character, but I will highly recommend that you don't do that. Simply because they put those moving platforms in between the walls. So you can easily just use that triangle jump ability and then get caught on the walls. Also, it's really hard to get up poles. Very, very difficult. It shouldn't be that difficult, but it is. Now, I could have just flown over here, but instead I just decided, you know what, let's jump off the pole and just fly over to the capsule that way. Makes my life a lot easier. Even though it really didn't in the end, but hey, I tried. You know what? Let's go ahead and kill you. and smash these, and we're done. I was thinking about using Team Blast there, but then I realized it's not really going to be that much of a point. I'm only going to get a handful of rings anyway. It's not worth the time. But there we go. We got the A rank. We're good to go. We had enough points to get the A rank from the normal mission as well. So overall, that was a good level. Kind of. That's not really one of my favorite missions. That's actually one of my least favorite missions with this team. So I'm glad that one's out of the way. So now we just have to go ahead and take on the Egg Albatross.
That must be... What do we do now?
Eggman's secret weapons must be aboard that ship. Destroy it before it reaches the canyon.
Piece of cake! Ready, all cannons! Open fire!
So we know what to do by now by fighting this Egg Albatross a total of 3 times already. Just get behind him and just attack him with a power character. It's easy as that. So we're going to go ahead and get inside of him here actually, and we did a lot of damage by doing that. That's the best thing you want to do in this Egg Albatross fight. You want to get inside of his machine. It's really difficult to do, but you can do it. But what I just did there when I homing attacked the blimp, that's the method a lot of people choose to do with this boss. They like to homing attack him. It's not really something I like to do personally in this boss. It's something I did growing up, but now playing this game again, I don't like doing that anymore because it's super risky. You can easily homing attack this thing, be above a bomb's pit, and then easily fall off if something happens or you transition to a cutscene and the game doesn't realize where to put you. Also, speaking of cutscenes, I got shot in the cutscene. That's not fair. I mean, seriously, I wasn't able to even control my character and you just took a cheap shot at my character. Come on. I mean, it doesn't matter about the rings in the end, but if I had 0 rings there, I would have died. That would have been stupid. I'm glad that didn't happen though.
Good job, boys. Guess that Eggman was a fake after all.
Of course it was.
Oh?
Listen carefully. There's a jungle just to the north of here. Go there immediately.
Got it.
You know what? Our client sure seems to know a lot about this Dr. Eggman guy.
Definitely an agent. A relative, perhaps.
Strangely enough, I had the same weird feeling about our client's real identity. It could be you-know-who.
So 2 things I want to go ahead and mention about that cutscene. For starters, they didn't get anything scanned at the end of the fight with the Egg Albatross. I guess Team Chaotix isn't good enough. And second, we're piecing together who our secret client here is because he never revealed his identity. So that's another job they've been doing, trying to figure out who this is. You know who is exactly who you think it is. So I'll let you go ahead and piece together who this is. We'll find out at the end of the story. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. Next time on Let's Play Sonic Heroes, we'll continue on here in Team Chaotix story in Frog Forest. I'll see you guys next time.